Hello everyone, and welcome to another edition of Paul's Cinema Picks of the Week. I am your host, Brantford's film enthusiast, Paul Westbrook. And this is part 3 of our official 100th video, which I split into 3 segments. The first one we talked about the early films and stuff, up to the talking. Then we did the golden age of cinema, which was the talking films up to the 60s. Now, for this third and final part, I'm doing one that I chose myself called The Modern Blockbuster, which is all the modern blockbuster films, the ones that everybody's familiar with now. And I figured that's a perfect way to conclude the 3 parts. So, let's get to it. The first one here is Star Wars. Star Wars, 1977 classic film. And yeah, at the time I did a show on the Star Wars set, I had different DVD covers. So this is the one that I had bought after that. And this one is really good because it has disc 1, it has the special edition, which is Episode 4, New Hope Special Edition. And then the second one has Star Wars as it was originally presented in 1977. And believe it or not, the original version of the Star Wars, you're getting this okay, Tess?
I'm getting it fine.
The original version of Star Wars did not have the title New Hope. That came out in 1982 when it came to theaters. And they re-released it under the title New Hope. And then all the subsequent DVDs and stuff afterward were called Episode 4 New Hope. But yes, Star Wars was one of the first blockbuster hit films of the late 70s, made in 1977. And of course, starring Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, Alec Guinness, Carrie Fisher, and David Prowse as Darth Vader, although James Earl Jones did the voice of Darth Vader. Because a lot of people think David Prowse, he was Darth Vader. I said, yeah, but he didn't do the voice, because his voice was not well suited for the role, so that's what they did there. But yeah, Star Wars was the first well-known blockbuster of the 70s. Second,
Dobby's just, wanting to be part of the show.
Dobby likes to be part of the show.
He's a mascot.
Yeah. I'll have to have him up for bad films because Siskel and Ebert, Ron mentioned this, Siskel and Ebert used to call the movies the bad dog. The bad movies, they were called the bad dog films.
Dobby.
That's what happened there.
He'll pick a movie and run with it.
Yep.
So you might want to put them all on the table.
Okay, on the table, here we go. Next movie is Superman the Movie, 1978, with Christopher Reeve, Margot Kidder, and Gene Hackman, and Marlon Brando. And this, actually, like I said, Superman was the first major blockbuster that I've got to see at the Capitol Theater. And a little bit of an advertisement here, if I may. I think it's January the 9th of 2023. I will be returning to the Sanderson Center, which at the time I first saw it was the Capitol Theater. And Sanderson Center is doing their classic film presentation, so they'll be doing Superman there.
Isn't Superman made by a Canadian?
Well, that
Inspired
was
by
the original
Canadian?
creator, I think it was Joe Shuster.
Was Canadian?
It was Schuster, because they were Siegel and then Schuster. I think Schuster was the Canadian. I could be wrong. I'm
pretty sure, but I think I've seen that in the comments.
But yeah, Superman is classified as a Canadian institution in that sense. In fact, it was in a lot of the commercials and stuff.
All right. I brought that up only because I think someone asked that question last time we brought up Superman.
Yeah.
So I figured I might as well bring it up now and ask.
Oh, definitely. And no, that's good. Always good to bring up the points, and that even when you're on the camera, so that way we're able to discuss it. Yes. Superman the movie came out in 1978, and they actually started it in 76 and 77 when they were filming, and then was released in 1978. And took a lot of work to do because the problems with the Salkinds, Alexander and Elia Salkind, and the director Richard Donner, they were engrossed in a bit of a feud at the time because they were barely speaking by the time the film was done. But Superman the movie, for its time, was one of the all-time great blockbusters. And again, it was the first one that I'd ever seen because I'd never been to the theater to see a movie of the spectacle genre. There, I even made up a new genre again there, the spectacle. And it was certainly one of the great film experiences of my time. It influenced me personally on my love of film because it was like, wow, the effects were spectacular. Everything was just amazing about this whole movie. And even though they've done Superman since then, I don't think anyone's really captured the mythos of how the first Superman with Christopher Reeve was done. And then there was Superman 2, which I also say was essentially one story, because it was all one story, and it continues the saga from this one here with the origin of Superman and how he came to Metropolis and stuff, and then the sequel with the three villains of Krypton, so it all fit in as one. And there's three versions of the Superman movies in this one. And I mentioned that before, but I thought I'd review it. And there's the original 1978 theatrical cut. There's the 2001 expanded cut, which had some scenes added back in, and it was considered to be Richard Donner's favorite version of the three. And then there was the 1982 ABC Network television cut, which was 3 hours long, and it basically had everything. Every scene was restored, and it was my favorite. That was actually my favorite version of the film. Okay, next. Another film in the 70s I forgot to mention, but at that time, a lot of people wanted to go to the beach and they wanted to go on vacation, but after seeing this film, 1975 Jaws by Steven Spielberg, yes, based on the novel by Peter Benchley, this movie here made beach attendance that year fall by quite a bit because of the shark. And I was absolutely not allowed to see this movie at the time that it originally came out. And I remember wanting to see it when I was 5, and Mom was like, absolutely not, you're not going to go see something like that. But then again, I was actually banned from seeing Star Wars. Yeah, I was actually banned from Star Wars as well because of the same thing. Mom thought that the aliens would have frightened me. In this case, the shark would have given me nightmares. And yeah, when I saw the poster the first time, I was terrified, and I wouldn't have been able to sleep for a week because I remember seeing that image and then seeing the image of the shark here going up after the girl. And once you saw that, that's what gave me a lot of nightmares, and I wasn't able to sleep for at least a week after seeing that. And I know they made about three sequels to the movie, which ended with Jaws: The Revenge. But this is the one that I remember the most, the original Jaws, which is the classic. And today I actually enjoy watching this one. I got a 30th anniversary edition. I also have it on VHS at home, but I also have this 30th anniversary edition because of all the extra stuff like the making of the movie and the trailers and whatnot, deleted scenes. And it's one of the top movies in my collection. Okay. Then, in 1982, Steven Spielberg made E.T. the Extraterrestrial. I think my sister likes that one. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
you like
okay.
E.T.?
Yeah.
Yeah, E.T. the Extraterrestrial. The story of a little boy who meets an alien who's lost here on Earth, and basically the alien has to find his way home.
E.T. phone home.
Yeah, hence where the E.T. phone home thing came in. And this is a 2-disc limited collector's edition because it has 2 versions of E.T. And let's open up. There's the original 1982 version here. And then, no, this back here. Okay, I stand corrected. That was the restored edition. This is the restored one with all the added scenes. This one here is the original cut because it's the original theatrical release and has all the bonus features on it. But yes, and then we went to see it at the theater again. They got to see it in the bonus version, which had all the a lot of added scenes that came to it, and there's special features on this one. I want to read this to you. It says, you get the introduction by Steven Spielberg, so you get to hear from the filmmaker. Live performance of John Williams conducting the orchestra for the 2002 premiere of E.T., which is, I call it E.T., the expanded cut. Then you get the evolution and creation of E.T. from idea, screenplay, through casting and making the film. And who doesn't love all the making of movies? Well, some people watch special features, others don't. And you got the music of John Williams, the 2000 theatrical premiere, designs and original advertising, photographs, and production notes and cast of filmmakers. And you get a reunion with the original cast of E.T. Like, they reunited at the premiere, and you get to see the reunion of a lot of the original cast, like Drew Barrymore re-meeting Henry Thomas, who, believe it or not, now is 51 years old. The little boy in this movie is now 51 today. And E.T. always endures as one of the classics of cinema. I know my friend Gino doesn't like it, but what does he know? He doesn't like the movie. But I think a lot of us enjoyed E.T. watching it, and it was very hard to get on video for a long time. When it came out in '82, they never really released it till about '88, when they released it on VHS, and then later on DVD, Blu-ray, and other releases after that. But certainly glad they did, because people would have been missing out on a great film. And we have here Indiana Jones: The Complete Adventures, but the one I'm going to be talking about is Raiders of the Lost Ark, which came out in '81, starring Harrison Ford, who is familiar to audiences as Han Solo in Star Wars. And here he plays the archaeologist, adventurous explorer, Indiana Jones. And he goes out, in this case, to find the Ark of the Covenant, which is a biblical artifact. I don't really know a lot about the Ark itself, but I do know about the adventure. He has to find the Ark. He has to stop the Nazis while he's doing it, because the Nazis also want the Ark for their own purposes, because Hitler was interested in it. So anyway, yeah, you get all sorts of adventure in this one. You get different fights with the Nazis. You get Indiana Jones and fighting the Nazis as much as he can in airplanes and in tanks, and then of course there's the other man who's a French archaeologist named Belloc, who is a rival to Jones, who's also after pretty much the same thing. And Indiana Jones, when it first came out, it was George Lucas and Steven Spielberg came up with this idea about sort of like the Saturday morning serials, where he wanted to do something very similar to Star Wars. So Star Wars like the Saturday sci-fi serial and stuff. So in this one, he wanted to do a story about an adventurer who goes off on all these adventures and is an archaeologist trying to find all these different artifacts. So yeah, Indiana Jones: The Complete Adventures. You got this film and the other three films actually, which end with Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. You get the Temple of Doom, and then you get the Last Crusade along with that. And it's quite a set. You got hours of special features to go with it as well. Finally, my final one here is the I did the Batman one before, so I didn't want to do this for the Batman, but I wanted to do something with Batman. So I brought up the Dark Knight trilogy. This is the one directed by Christopher Nolan and stars Christian Bale as Batman. And what they were doing here is they were putting a more realistic approach to it. Like, it's a darker approach, and it also has a more realistic approach of Christian Bale's Batman. It'd be like, what would happen if Batman was in the real world of today? And you got The Dark Knight, which is actually the best of the series because it has Heath Ledger playing the part of the Joker. And sadly, he passed away after the movie was done, and so it's his last role, but it was probably his most demanding role. And then The Dark Knight Rises, with Tom Hardy playing the part of Bane, and that I thought was one of the darker ones of the series too, because it had Anne Hathaway as Catwoman. And what made it dark, though, is just sort of the realistic approach that they went with this one compared to Michael Keaton's, because Michael Keaton still retained a lot of the comic book fantasy that the Batman series was for that time, so they wanted to do something more approachable and in a sense realistic, so they went with Christian Bale's portrayal of Batman, and just the way they filmed it was really good. I have a little confession to make here. In Dark Knight Rises, when they did the chant for Bane, I was actually one of the voices that's in that chant, because we actually did a soundbite for that online, and they got to send it to the Warner Brothers Studios, or the studio that was making The Dark Knight Rises. So they had that, and they said your voice has been approved. So yes, I am one of the voices. You don't even hear me though, because it's all a bunch of chanting and stuff. But still, it's a thrill to be considered one of the voices for Dark Knight. But yes, a lot of ways people thought this was the superior filming of Batman, because they had done the Michael Keaton ones and then they regulated into camp afterward, because with the Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, it was sort of campy, so they wanted to get back to a darker version of Batman, so that's why they went with a whole new cast, and the way it was done is just, it became like the darker version. It was basically based on the Batman Year One, which was a comic book series focusing on the some of the younger years or the later years of Batman. But this one, I would say, cinematically, it's probably the best version of Batman you can get. So, and there we go. That was the modern blockbuster films. I'm glad that you got to enjoy looking through them and listening as I talk about them. And thank you again for this episode. And reminding you to like and subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments in the comments below the video once you've seen the video. And thank you for listening. And reminding you that I'll be seeing you at the movies. Bye-bye for now.